Hello, Austin County. Today I am in the living room with Jeff Grobe, and he is running for Justice of the Peace, Precinct 3 here in Austin County. Jeff, thank you for being with us.
Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me.
All right, so let's tell Austin County, who is Jeff Grobe?
So my name is Jeffrey Grobe. People call me Jeff all the time. I grew up in Simonton in Valley Lodge, and I got married and moved to Wallace with my wife. Been married for over 28 years now, and we lived in Austin County for over 30 years.
Okay, nice. I'm a transplant, so I'm always envious of people who have lived here all the time. Okay, so Justice of the Peace, why is that something that you think you want to do?
So I'm running for Justice of the Peace because I have been a lifelong public servant. I was in the United States Marine Corps, served in my country. I served in Texas Department of Public Safety as a trooper, sergeant, and lieutenant. I'm currently a deputy constable in Waller County. I have an active TCOL license. I am a police officer. And also now I work with Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. I'm a special investigator, and I enjoy helping kids. So I think I have a lot to offer with my experience to serve as a public servant for the local community.
That's wonderful. We had a lovely couple ladies that came for the family services, and I was impressed with what all they had to do. All right, so that kind of leads me into my next question. I was going to ask you, what all have you done to be a Justice of the Peace? Like, you've done all these other things. How do you think that's going to translate into a Justice of the Peace position?
So with my training and experience in law enforcement, I have over 3,000 hours of completed TCOL training for continuing education.
Wow.
So to be a police officer, got to go through 40 hours of continuing education every 2 years. When I was in Texas Department of Public Safety, I'm familiar with traffic law. I'm familiar with the penal code, code of criminal procedure, the family code. And that also transpires over to Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. I'm really familiar with the family code. I'm a special investigator, and I handle sexual abuse, physical abuse cases for children. I do school investigations when the employee works for the school district. I do human trafficking. I work child fatalities. And also with my experience in the constable's office is civil process. And that gives me a lot of experience with the civil process, working as a bailiff inside the courtroom with the JP in serving warrants and writs and subpoenas and other things like that.
Wow. You've done a lot. All right. So you have kind of a tough job with the whole working with children and stuff like that. So if you were JP, how would you balance following the law with showing compassion, to some of those people who might, otherwise not get it?
So following the law and balancing it and showing compassion, you have to show compassion, but you have to balance it by being able to correctly interpret the law in the legal process. And that includes helping people navigate the judicial system and explaining the process to them. But at the same time, you have to have tough love by adhering and administering the legal process, the legal part of the law. Does that make sense?
Kind of like being a parent. You got to do a little of both.
Yes.
All right. So a lot of people are always talking about, transparency and efficiency. These are all big things that people worry about. Say you become Justice of the Peace. How would you be transparent and, available to people?
So I'm going to break that up into two, transparency and efficiency. Transparency is always keeping the doors open for people to come in and visually see and listen to the court cases. Also, transparency is open records. If somebody wanted some information to go to the open records. But transparency, when you invite people into your courtroom, you also need to make sure that everybody can see visually and also audibly and hear what's going on. Because I've been to court hearings where it's really hard to hear people, whether using technology for microphones or cameras or something like that. Efficiency is using technology. Look at the different technology that is available. Of course, there is a budget,
Right.
for everything, right?
Right.
But I think there's ways for efficiency, to look at maybe Zoom meetings. That'll cut down on a lot of failure to appear, possibly because people always have a hard time getting to court and showing up on time or even getting there because there's no transportation. Some kind of, look into public transportation to getting people to the courtroom and looking at Zoom, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Zoom phone calls and video technology.
Yeah. That kind of took off during the COVID years.
It did.
Yeah.
Some people still use it. Some don't. Some got away from it. It's just something to look at.
Yeah. It's a good idea. All right. So next thing is emotions. How do you handle a courtroom that is full of emotion?
So I have a lot of experience with that. When I was in highway patrol, and then you stop cars, whether it's a warning or citation or something like that, everybody always gets upset that they're being stopped. They'll accuse you of singling them out or something like that. But always show professionalism, show compassion, and really take a deep breath. Stand back, take a deep breath, think about what they're getting upset about, and just listen to them. A lot of times people just want to be heard, right? So listen to them, and if you have to, take a recess, take a break from the hearing. Let everybody take a deep breath, let everybody calm down, because in my opinion, when the emotions start running high, negative things start to happen.
Right.
And especially if you're sitting on a bench and you get emotionally attached to the case, you can have drastic impact on the negativity of the outcome of that case. You don't know what the other person's going through,
right,
and what they're struggling with. That's why you need to show compassion. Just take a break, back off, and readdress it.
Yeah. All right. In your opinion, what role does a justice of the peace play in serving the broader Austin County community?
So the justice of the peace performs marriages.
Okay.
The justice of the peace does inquest. So when they do a inquest, they are investigating a death when there's not a medical examiner in the county, which in this instance, we do not have a medical examiner. So they investigate the cause of death. Justice of the peace will also write writs, write search warrants for police officers, which a lot of times you'd be surprised on how many officers need a warrant or a search warrant.
Right.
Detective orders, they handle Class C misdemeanors, traffic citations, and other stuff. They're also a magistrate when they go to the jail and set bail and bond. And they do truancy for school kids. Now, I have a lot of experience in that with family and protective services dealing with kids all the time. They handle civil claims less than $20,000. And also, in my opinion, they do a lot of legal advice that's off book, off record, that they just kind of point you in a direction. If you need help or assistance, they will point you in that direction to go find that assistance and help that you need.
So kind of like a resource.
Like a resource. Yeah.
Okay. Now you talked about going to school a lot. How do you stay informed on, if you're elected, how do you stay informed on the changes to the laws and the things that the Justice of the Peace is expected to do?
So being a bailiff, I talk to the Justice of the Peace over there quite a bit and stuff. And he's also a police officer as well, one police officer. And we just talk about different things, but the Justice of the Peace was kind of like Tico. I'm required 40 hours of continuing education every 2 years to keep myself informed of the law and new laws that come out every 2 years. Justice of the Peace is pretty much similar to that. I believe it's 80 hours for the first year of new justice training. And then I want to say it's 20 hours every year after that for continuing education. So there's a lot of resources out there, but that's one that is required. But there's other resources available as well.
I'm going to say, because things change. Sometimes it seems very quickly.
Right.
This one is kind of similar to the one that we did before. Accountability, like, financial things that go on. How would you do your accountability for justice of the peace?
So accountability for justice court, a lot of it is financial oversight. And the financial oversight usually comes from the county auditor's office. Also, you can go to the treasurer's office. Accountability is transparency in open records. Accountability is maintaining yourself professionalism, in my opinion, and showing compassion and respect towards everybody.
Right. I like that. All right. And this is my very last question. This is your chance. Tell Austin County, why should they vote for you for justice of the peace?
So I like to ask Austin County for their vote.
I say ask them. There they are.
For Justice of the Peace, Precinct 3 in Austin County. I've been a lifelong servant. I'm a volunteer for the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo and have been for a while. I'm on the trail ride committee, and I serve for the kids for the trail rides in the rodeo for college tuitions and fundraisers and stuff like that. I do attend National Night Out all the time, whether it's here in Austin County or Waller County, and usually they're on 2 different nights.
Right.
It's not big conflict. But I think that the justice of the peace needs to be compassionate, needs to be fair, needs to be experienced, and needs to be respectful to the county as well and all their constituents. So I would like to ask everybody for their vote.
Well, that works. All right. And once again, Jeff Grobe, Jeffrey, but he goes by Jeff Grobe, and he's running for Justice of the Peace, Precinct 3. And voting is going to start before too terribly long, I do believe. So, all right, Austin County, you've seen it here. And we're so glad you joined us in the living room. And until next time, keep smiling.